Howdy, sixth graders. Time for another video. I can tell you're incredibly excited about that. So if you would grab some notes, I guess this would be under fractions. I'm going to share my screen and we will talk a little bit about this. Under fractions, make sure you take some good ones here. So let's jot this down here. Under fractions. And what we are doing with fractions here, the little subtitle is using prime factorization to reduce. So let's see if we can shorten that a little bit. Reducing with prime factorization. Now let me give you an example first and then we'll actually talk about it here. So example, the book will tell you to reduce, and notice it will tell you to use prime factorization here. So here is the fraction we have. We have 375 over 1,000. Okay, if I'm supposed to use that. Well, step number one, children. Step number one, let's jot it over here, is you need to prime factorize the top and the bottom. Which is kind of goofy. I mean, they're not the easiest ones, at least not the top one there. So let's do 375. If I were prime factorizing 375, because right off the top of my head, I don't know what times what gives me 375, but I know it's divisible by 5 because of this 5 over here. I would just say, hey, let's do division by primes to factorize this. So 5 is a prime number, so I'm going to divide 375 by 5. I get 735, 25. I get 75. And again, since this ends in a 5, I'm going to divide it by 5. Which gives me 15. I will again divide it by 5 because that's, and then I get a 3. So there, these are all my prime numbers that I divided by. So I know, and I want to rewrite those up top over here. I know that 375 is 3, and I would write them in order just because sometimes it's good to be organized. Okay, so there is the 375 prime factorized. Now let's do 1,000 prime factorized. I guess I would, let's just for fun do this another way. One way we could start is cut it in half and call it 2 times 500. Can stop with the 2. 500 is 5 times 100. I could stop with the 5. 100 is 10 times 10. Both of those 10s can be broken down to 2 times 5, 2 times 5. So we end up with, it looks like, again, organization is key. Looks like I have 3 2s and 2 5s. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5, wait, and 3 5s, 2 2s, 3 2s, 3 5s, it looks like. Make sure I get that right. So now that I have them prime factorized, here comes the important step here. Step number 2 is you can cross off top factors with identical bottom factors. Identical bottom factors, 1 for 1. And that's a pretty simple little process. That just means this. Okay, I don't have any 2s on top, so I can't cross off any 2s, and I don't have any 3s on bottom. So the 2s and the 3s don't cross off, but I have a 5 here that'll cross off with a 5 there, 1 for 1. A second 5 that crosses off with a second 5, and a third 5 that crosses off with a third 5. So those 3 5s crossed off with the 3 5s on the bottom. And then your last step here is you need to remultiply if necessary. If necessary. Necessary. Try to get that right. Did I spell that right? Either way. So here's the deal. Okay, you're only left with a 3 on top, so that just stays a 3. Okay, we don't do anything with that. And then you multiply 2 times 2 times 2. You remultiply these things. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So what you end up with, 375 reduced all the way becomes 3/8. Now I will tell you this, they'll give you a lot of these numbers again. If you have 375 prime factorized in your notes, you know, you don't have to sit down and redo all of this stuff every time. If you've got them already there, you can just copy them off of your notes, and everybody would be happy there. Because I know that's a lot of work to have to keep doing. For example, let's do another one here. What if it was 48 over 400? 48 over 400. And if it tells you you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. You can't just reduce it any old way just because they were very specific about it. So we need to prime factorize 48. I'm going to do it by, I guess, well, let's do 6 times 8. Both 6 and 8 can be broken down into 2 times 3 and 4 times 2. I can stop at the 2's and the 3's, but the 4 can be broken down one more time. Remember, these all have to be prime numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 2's and a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 2's and a 3. 400, if I prime factorize it, is 4 times 100. 4 becomes 2 times 2. I could stop with those. 100 is 10 times 10, and each 10 is a 2 times a 5, and a 2 times a 5. So what am I left with? 1, 2, 3, 4 2's and 2 5's. 1, 2, 3, 4 2's and 2 5's. And here's the point again. I can cross off 1 for 1, 1, 2 with another 2 on the bottom. And it can only be tops with bottoms. You don't ever cross off top with a top. The second 2 with the second 2, a third 2 with a third 2, a fourth 2 with a fourth 2. Nothing else crosses off. I'm left with a 3 on top. And on bottom, 5 times 5 is 25. So this whole thing cross cancels to 3 over 25. Let's see if I can do one more here. Let's do 125 over 500. 125 over 500. Give myself a little bit more room. This will be our last one. I need to reduce 125 over 500. So if I'm prime factorizing 125, I'm going to do that one again by division by primes because it ends with a 5. 5 goes into 125 25 times. 5 goes into 25 5 times, and those are all prime, so I can stop. 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. 500. 500. Now maybe you can start seeing some patterns here. 500 is a lot like 400. Let's take a look, see. 5 prime factorize 500. It is 5 times 100. When we prime factorized 100 here, 100 ended up being these numbers down here. So I have a 5, which I can stop with, and then 100 is 2 times 5 times 2 times 5. That's that same 100 that this 100 was over here. So writing these from least to greatest, I get 2 times 2 and 3 5s. Again, 1, 2, 3 5s and 2 2s. Now here's something that happens, and you have to be careful with this. Take a look, see here. If I'm crossing off stuff, this 5 and that 5, second 5, second 5, third 5, third 5. If everything on top crosses off, it doesn't go away. You always are left with a 1. You have to have a number on top, and you end up with a 1 on top. Remultiplying the bottom, you get 4. So 125 over 500 reduces down to 1/4. Hopefully that was as fun and exciting for you as it was for me. And we will stop this whole crazy show right now. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.